Hey gamers, welcome back to the channel. Today I have a brand new game for you. This is 7 Deadly Sins Origin. Now I've streamed this a couple times already. This is my first video on it. These are beginner's tips that I've learned over the last week that hopefully will help you out as you continue through the story and through the world and experience this ARPG based on the anime 7 Deadly Sins. It's a blast. I'm having fun. Let's go ahead and talk about it. All right, and welcome back. Really quick before we get into the video, just to let you know, I will have timestamps in the description below just to help you navigate through the video. Maybe this is your first, maybe 5th, 20th time watching the video, and you want to key in on specific tips and components of the video. You can go ahead and use those timestamps below because I think it's going to be a pretty lengthy video. We've got codes, starting teams, we've got crafting, combat. By the way, love how combat works in this game, and once you really fully understand it, it becomes so much easier in defeating bosses. Let's start off with codes. I will have the codes scroll down at the bottom of the screen. There's 4 that I'm aware of right now. If you don't know how to input the codes, you're going to go over to your settings, down to your profile, and then go to redeem coupon right here. All one word. I'm going to give you the first one right now is Origin Steam. The rest you'll see scroll across the bottom of the screen. Put them in here. I like codes. Codes are always good. You get additional resources, summoning materials, things like that, just to help you start off strong. All right, let's talk about starting teams. All right, so I am going to approach this as a free-to-play player. I've been playing this game for the last week, and I've been 100% free-to-play so far. I think I'm going to stay free-to-play for a little while, just because I really love experiencing games as a free-to-play player first, before I start investing in the game. So your starting team is going to start off with Tristan. Tristan, obviously, main character of the game, and he's the one that does most of the talking. He's a great character. I love the story. I love how they grow throughout the story as well, and he's a pretty cool dude. So you're going to start off with Tristan. He's a fire damage dealer. I suggest, as far as weapons go, the dual swords. Just much quicker with the damage and with the attacks and building up your burst bar. Next is going to be Gila. Gila you're going to be given for free, so you might as well use her. She's also fire attack as well. I suggest using the lance. And then with her and with Tristan and with your burst bar doing the same elemental damage, you're going to fill that burst bar up pretty quick. When you swap between characters, that burst bar is pretty critical because as you switch your element, the burst bar changes to that element. So having multiple characters of the same element to do your attacks and your tag-ins and things like that just helps build that burst bar much faster. Your third character is going to be Tiore. You start out with her as well. Now, I used the book with her, but if you use the wand does give her the ability to do some healing. So you got healing here with the Healing Fox. And then for the passive here, as you tag in your characters, there's some healing that happens there as well. So those 3, I would suggest she's fire as well. So you got 3 of the same element helping contribute to your burst bar. The 4th is whoever you want. The next character you're going to come across is Hauser. And then depending on whoever you summon through the draw, you're going to add them possibly as well. It just really depends on who you get. Which takes us to reroll and kind of who are some great characters to reroll for. Like I said, I'm 100% free to play. I do have Meliodas. The way the Meliodas banner works is you're going to summon 80 times. Now within that 80 times you can get an SSR. You have a 50% chance for that 80th draw to be Meliodas, or the first 80th, your first SSR to be Meliodas. 50-50 chance. If you don't get him on that 50-50, then at 120 draws, you're guaranteed to get him. As a free-to-play player, I don't know if I'm going to hit 120. I might, but we'll see. But I got lucky on the 50-50, so that worked out pretty well. And he is absolutely awesome. For Meliodas, I do recommend the dual swords as well. So if we're talking about reroll characters, there's 3 that I think everybody pretty much agrees on. Meliodas, maximum number 1, awesome. Really love this guy. He does some massive damage. Number 2 is going to be Diane. Now with Diane, I suggest the gauntlets just for quicker attacks, also to build up your burst bar much faster. Once her burst bar fills up, then she gets barrier, which is very cool, and that does transfer between your different characters as you tag characters in and out. And then the third is going to be Jericho. I don't have Jericho, so I can't really go through the weapons for her, but She is a fantastic character as well. Now, if you're saying, all right, so you've given me 3 targets, but who is the best among the 3? Hands down is Meliodas. Massive damage with his darkness damage. When we talk about burst here in a little bit, it's very critical to understand how burst works, because as you do damage with an element, you're going to build that burst bar, but darkness does not work that way. It works a little bit different. All right, so let's talk about that right now. So when we talk about burst, let me go into this right here. I'll have some examples up here as well, but let's go ahead into advanced combat. So right here, so what's going to happen is, depending on what element you are other than darkness, as you do attacks, chaining between different characters and doing abilities, not just your basic attacks, but your skills as well, you're going to build up that burst bar. The burst bar is the bar that's underneath your enemy's health bar. You're going to see that. You're going to see that grow, whether it's the smaller enemies or the big bosses. The big bosses, obviously, you're going to see it much better, but you're going to see that burst bar grow. Once that burst bar fills, you're going to see the word burst, and then it's going to slowly start to recede before you have to build it back up. That's how it works for all of the different elements except for darkness. What darkness does, darkness corrupts, right? So what you have to do is start with a different element. So whether it's earth or whether it's fire, for me, I've got Tristan, and then I follow up with Meliodas. So with Tristan, I'm going to build up my fire burst damage. Once I hit burst, I'm going to tag in Meliodas. And then what's going to happen is he's going to take over that burst bar and turn it into a darkness burst. And then he's going to do some massive damage. Cool thing about him as well, one of the reasons why he is so freaking fantastic is because he's got some self-healing. Let me go to my weapons, my dual swords. This right here, this ability here, he restores HP, but you got to make sure that demonic power is active. So if I go up into this right here, gains demonic power for 20 seconds when landing attacks on an enemy with darkness burst activated 5 times while demonic power is not active. All right, so you need to get into darkness burst, you need to get that demonic power active, and then you're going to go ahead and let off this skill so you can do some HP recovery, so you can do some self-healing. When I was doing my last stream, there was somebody that joined the stream that really helped me understand it, because I, for some reason, missed the burst bar. I thought it was somewhere else on the screen. But once you really understand burst and the mechanics, and you know who you're going to tag in at what time, and you know who's going to be your main damage dealer, it makes things so much easier in this game. It makes boss battles so much easier in this game. I really like the combat mechanics. I like the complexity. It's not too complex, but it does require more than just auto-attacking, which I think is really cool. So there's some basics, some tips for you as far as your combat goes. Go out there, have fun with it, farm like crazy. There is so much to see in this game. All right, let's talk about crafting. So with crafting, I was a little late to the bench, and that, I mean my workbench. So with your workbench here, you're going to start out at a lower level workbench, and then you're going to work on upgrading that workbench. And as you upgrade your crafting station, you're going to get access to better and better gear and different items that you can craft. Like you go from simple HP to HP recovery to premium HP down to supreme HP. You just get access to better stuff to craft. Now, in order to enhance, to level it up, you go down here, and this is what you're going to see. Now, if I remember correctly, so I'm at level 4. If I remember correctly, the wood, the polish, and the sticky adhesive, I think is the same for all previous workbenches, plus obviously the previous workbench. This, I think, is the only thing that changes. I could be 100% wrong. Just make sure to take a look at this so you know what you need. But this was gold. This is gold now for my next upgrade. My previous one, I think I needed silver. Before that, I think was iron. So I think this is the only change that I remember. But like I said, just double check here. Make sure to stay up on this. Do your farming early on. I think blazing through this game, especially as a free-to-play player, you're going to hit walls. I certainly did. So then I had to backtrack and then do some things that I hadn't done, like upgrade my bench, upgrade my gear, farm for better gear, things like that. So make sure to constantly farm for your workbench and upgrade your workbench. Actually, I'm level 3. All right, so that is your workbench. That's crafting. You got some cool stuff in here. There's some stuff that are that's difficult to find in the world, like tree sap, but there's stores and things that you can use to access some of those materials. We'll get that over. We'll get to that here in just a second. Let's talk about armor. Actually, let me back out of this here. Well, no, let's go to Tristan. So with Tristan, with your armor. So I've got his engraved set here. We're going to go to a town really quick and walk through this. But I think the cool thing about this is as you work through the story, you're going to get his first engraved set. Once you work through your different challenges, there's an event that's going to pop up, Challenge Missions 2. And as you increase the combat class, so the number of your team, you're going to get rewards, which is this gear here. This I got access to today when it switched over to Challenge Missions 2. This gear here, all of this here, gives you the requirements, gives you what you need in order to craft, in order to engrave his second engraved gear here, formal attire, which is pretty cool. You want to keep up on that because obviously the better gear you have, the easier it is to move through the world, defeat enemies, survive, things like that, right? So let's go ahead. I'm going to get out of here really quick. We're going to pop into a town. You know what? Let's just pop in over here. Warp. And then we're going to go over here. You can see that icon that I'm running to right now. Also, Meliodas gets a double jump. He's only one that has a double jump, and I think it's cool. Look at it. We're going to go to Elvira. We're going to go to Engrave. So you can switch your characters around here. I'm just going to switch back to Tristan. So you upgrade with this. You get this material here as you work through, and then they say, hey, this is how you go ahead and craft your prince's training outfit. When you get this gear here from that mission, Challenge Missions 2, or you farm that gear through world bosses, elite bosses, things like that, you will get this gear, and then you're just going to craft it here. You're going to engrave it. My next piece is going to be right here, which is going to be tougher to get, much tougher to get. So this is where you get that kind of gear, and you can get them for your different heroes. So Thunderous Top, this is next actually. Through that Challenge Missions 2, these are the next gear pieces to unlock. I've got a couple of them already, but these are the next gear pieces to unlock. So that'll unlock this for Diane, which would be pretty cool. So keep an eye on engraving and what's required to engrave that gear for your heroes. Other than that, just make sure to stay on top of farming gear, right? So I'm going to go out here. You've got your elite bosses and such. This guy I have not fought yet. Scorpion Beast. You can click on him. On any of them, you can see what your chances, and you can see what the possible rewards are. So you can see through here. So like this is your Noble Heroes top, but that's not what we're farming, right? Maybe what we want to take a look at over here. Let's go to this guy, Red Demon. No, there it is. Fiery Essence Bottas. But hey, I'm on world level 1 right now. As I upgrade my world level, the bosses get harder, the enemies get harder, but the loot gets better. All right, so that's something to keep in mind as well. So you're not going to be able to farm what you need for that second engraved armor piece for Tristan until you get to world level 2. Now, where that comes into play and the importance of that is going through and getting all your warp stones, your warp points right here, right? Getting all of them because it contributes to Book of Stars experience. Completing missions, side missions, defeating, finding celestial stars, right? Is that what they're called? Let me go to the shop here really quick. These things here. Yeah, star fragments. Finding star fragments in the world adds to your Book of Stars experience. You want to make sure that you do everything you can, find everything you can, do all of your side quests, progress the story, get all the warp points to get your Book of Stars leveled up. Currently, I'm at level 30. What's going to happen is you're going to get to level 15, and then you got a dungeon. You got to complete this dungeon. It's going to tell you what your power level is and what's suggested. That is a pretty tight suggestion too, just so you know. I've tested it as I've gotten better at combat and stuff, and I could barely beat it being just under the number. Typically, you get at that number or above, you're pretty good as long as you understand your combat mechanics and you've got your rotation down pretty well. But then I can go up here and I can change the world level. Boom, to level 2. Change that. Now things are more difficult. Things are harder. So now if I go back out to my map and I go to that red demon, now I have an epic version of the, well, it's Thunderous Combat Boots. I got an epic version of that. If I go over here to the Toad, I've got what? I've got Fiery Essence Belt. That's one of the armor pieces that I need to engrave that Tristan set. So make sure to farm your bosses. These elite guys, as well as these lesser bosses here. These lesser bosses tend to have some crafting material and things that you need as well, but they've got some good gear. Also, these elite tokens that come into play as well. So just, I think with this game here, especially for free to play, just enjoy the story, move through the world kind of leisurely. Don't push too hard, but push. Because again, like I said, you're going to hit those walls. But if you stay up on your gear, if you level up your gear, if you make sure to work on your masteries, let's talk about that. Your masteries. I'm going to go over into here, into my hero info, go to mastery, and then upgrade these. Specific to the weapon, so be careful. For me, I invested in the wrong one. Wrong weapon for Diane. I invested quite a bit into the axe when I should have been investing into the gauntlet. But work on these because you get increased stats as you work through this, which obviously makes you stronger. It helps you work through the enemies and defeat the bosses much easier. This is critical. Keep your masteries up as best as you can until you don't have the material anymore, or you need to get to a certain point in the game to get the material you need in order to upgrade them. Your potential, when potential comes up, use it. This increases stats as well. There's many ways to increase your stats. Your armor. See, for me, typically, I was only upgrading my epics, but I ended up upgrading this as well just because I'm having a hard time getting what I need, a better piece than this one. Max level for armor so far that I've seen is +5. Make sure to upgrade your weapons as well. Enhance your weapons. Right now, I'm level 40 of 40. This is the material I need right now in order to tier up and then take it up another 10 levels. Don't forget about enchanting. Enchanting helps. So I've got an enchant on here. I got this blue bead that gives me crit chance and crit resistance. So there's a lot of things that you can do to strengthen your team and your heroes so that you could push past those walls I was talking about. All right, let's talk about the exchange shop. I'm gonna go over here, shop. Now, as a free-to-play player, what I was doing is going into here, Star Trace Crystalloids here. As you do summons, you'll get these Star Trace Crystalloids, and then you can use these to get hero pickup draw tickets. So now I'm saving up so for Meliodas' potential point so I can get through that and strengthen him up. But I did use these only on the hero pickup draw actually in here. My Star Trace fragments, you get much more of those from regular summons. I did max these both out so I can do more draws. And now I'm saving, I think, probably up for some tier up stones here to kind of help with that. You can use them on keys as well if you're running low on keys. Keys are required to claim rewards from the bosses. So your elite bosses and things like that. There's going to be a cube. You got to spend a certain number of keys to unlock that cube. You can still fight the boss, but you need keys to unlock the cube and get your rewards. So keep that in mind. And then star fragments. So as I was accumulating these, I was spending them only on the hero pickup draws. This is how I got Meliodas and got as many summons as I could on his banner. So I would suggest that. All these other ones are cash shop stuff and things like that, that as a free-to-play player, you're not going to spend. This is cash shop too. As you spend money, you get this currency here that you can spend in this store. But yeah, I went there all the way up until I got Meliodas, and then I stopped. I'm starting to save everything now and being a little bit more cautious on what I'm going to spend on. But I didn't see anything wrong with that. It didn't hurt me in any way. So that's my suggestion there as far as those go. And then finally, let's talk about the shops in the store here, or in the different towns. So I'm going to go ahead, let's see, run over to here. Now there's some materials that you're going to farm out in the world. Wood is easy to get. You're going to chop down trees. You're going to farm that. And then tree sap's a little bit more difficult. But you can go into these shops here. Dandelion root, sometimes I had a hard time finding, so I would purchase dandelion root from here. I wouldn't purchase the wood because you can find that pretty much everywhere. I was purchasing some premium HP recovery potions from here as well. Just watch your gold because your gold will go fast. If you've got the gold for it, then I would definitely do it. There is there's other shops like in your main town, Leonis, that you can purchase sap. The sap is important because that's what helps you craft the sticky adhesive that you need for upgrading your workbench. So definitely go to these shops and see if there's anything that you need that maybe you're having a hard time finding. And each town has a few different items in their shops. The next is going to be seals, and then we're going to wrap this up. So you got seal vendors here. And actually, I think I purchased this one. Nope, I didn't. So for here, this one here, it's important to know that you have, this is an account purchase. So you can only get this once. This is an SR crafted weapon chance chest. So what this does, this gives you an opportunity to get one of these SR weapons in here. Now, in order to craft some of your SSR weapons, you need an SR. So for me, specifically for Meliodas, I'm going for this, the Crimson Flame Dual Swords. If I get this, then that's going to help speed up me get to the SSR version of the dual swords that I'm looking for. Otherwise, I got to find the material, I've got to craft this, and then I can go ahead and craft my SSR. So this could speed up getting you the SSR weapon that you're looking for. It is a chance. It is not a selection. I wish it was a selection, but it is a chance, so you're not guaranteed to do it. When I got the first one, I got this one right here. I didn't need this one, but that's the one I got. So I did not get what I was looking for. But I definitely wanted to share that in case that's something that you wanted to go for. I think that's everything. That's what I have for you as far as beginner's tips for this game. I'm having a blast. Again, I'm loving the combat. The story is fun. I'm currently on Act 10. There's 12 acts total. So I'm almost at the end of it. So full week. I think I've got, what, 40 to 50 hours into this game over the last week. And a lot of that's exploring and just going into every nook and cranny. As you can see on the map down here, I've gotten all the side quests and everything done for this starter area. So now I'm starting to work on some of the other areas as well. So a lot of fun. Definitely want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the game? What do you think about the tips? What tips do you have for new beginners? Share that in the comment section below so everybody benefits. All right, everybody. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.